Hey sports fans, whether you're looking to travel to see some games or just want to spend some time in a fascinating city, Melbourne, Australia is deserving of a spot on your travel list. Over a 4-day visit, I got a glimpse of just how passionate about sports this town is, even getting to see an Australian football match at the storied Melbourne Cricket Ground. I made a separate video about that glorious night, which I'll link in the description below. But Melbourne has a lot more to offer the visitor than just sports, and if you're giving thought to making your own trip here, hopefully this travel video will inspire you to do so. If you're new to this channel, my name is Ed, and I chronicle all my sports travels on my website, Itinerant Fan. It has guides to all the stadiums in the major American sports leagues, plus some college stadiums and even major venues around the world. Check it out sometime if you're into traveling for sports. Melbourne is located in the southeast part of Australia in the state of Victoria, and along with Sydney is one of the country's most popular destinations for international travelers. And that's with good reason, as I came to discover during my visit. To reach Melbourne, I traveled by plane from Sydney and arrived at Melbourne Airport, located about 18 kilometers or 11 miles northwest of the city's central business district. Though the city operates a bus service from the airport to the CBD, known as the Sky Bus, we decided to hire a ride-share to get to our hotel, a journey of about 30 minutes factoring in midday traffic. Central Melbourne is, naturally, a terrific starting point for exploring Melbourne, but there are ways to get around as needed. The CBD's main transportation hub is Southern Cross Station, which can be used to access local and regional trains as well as the Sky Bus. The city also has a metropolitan train network, and an extensive one at that. Several of its lines run in a loop around the CBD. But for visitors, the most practical transport system to use is the tram network, consisting of 24 lines, many of which crisscross the CBD. I found the system of numbered routes to be a bit confusing at first, but if you pay attention to the destinations on the route and study the route map, it becomes easier to navigate with each successive ride. And we took numerous rides over the course of our stay. If you're simply traveling from one side of the CBD to the other, the ride is free thanks to the fact that the central city is a free tram zone. Melbourne has long been the center of sports culture in Australia, with an impressive collection of venues and a history of hosting major events. So even if you aren't a sports fan, it's difficult to ignore the impact sports has had on this city as a whole. For example, Australian football was born here in Melbourne, and the league that is now known as the Australian Football League was originally called the Victorian Football League, with all of its clubs based in and around Melbourne until the 1980s. The historic Melbourne Cricket Ground remains the center of the league, hosting the AFL's grand final every year. The stadium was founded and continues to be managed by the Melbourne Cricket Club, and historically has played a major role in the development and growth of cricket internationally. One of Australia's greatest cricketers, Bill Ponsford, is honored at the MCG with one of the stands named after him. The Melbourne Cricket Ground is just one of several venues in this area, located just a mile east of the CBD. But to international sports fans, it might be best known as the site of one of tennis's 4 Grand Slam tournaments, the Australian Open. The Rod Laver Arena serves as the centerpiece tennis venue, and together with the Margaret Court Arena and some smaller stadium courts, plays host to the 2-week tourney held every January. On the west end of the CBD in the Docklands area is another prominent stadium, currently known as Marvel Stadium. It's a frequent host of AFL matches, and on the weekend we were in town, it held 2 on the same day. It's located near the Southern Cross Station. During our visit, we were glad to have gotten a glimpse of the sports culture in Melbourne, which is vibrant no matter what time of year you happen to be visiting. I found central Melbourne to be a delightful place to simply stroll through open spaces and public buildings, and to see what daily life is like in this city. Strolling along the Yarra River is a good way to take in the outdoor vibe here, especially along the Flinders Walk that extends from the center of the city toward the sports district. Also in the CBD is the Queen Victoria Market, a massive open-air market that includes hundreds of stands selling all sorts of things, including just about every type of souvenir a tourist could want. Of course, it's a terrific spot to grab a bite to eat. The indoor section boasts a number of butchers and raw food purveyors, while in the open-air section you can find numerous stalls serving dozens of types of cuisines. When reading about the Queen Victoria Market before my trip, the stand I saw consistently mentioned the most was this one, the American Donut Kitchen, which had a fairly long but fast-moving line. I grabbed myself a bag of 5 hot jam donuts, which, trust me, didn't last very long. After surveying even more options, we went for steamed mussels as a proper lunch, and this didn't disappoint either. We also found that Melbourne has a Hello Kitty cafe, which was the highlight of the visit for my young daughter. And we had a blast exploring the city's expansive Chinatown, making a late-night stop for some Taiwanese street food. Hot pot restaurants seem to be on every block in this neighborhood, and after a fair amount of research we landed at this restaurant, Happy Lamb, and I'm glad to say we walked away from this visit happy and quite full. Now, we had quite a lot of fun just in central Melbourne, but we did want to explore outside the CBD, and for that we chose a half-hour tram trip southeast to St. Kilda Beach. It's a popular spot for area residents and tourists alike, and even though we were visiting in the winter time, the weather was nice and there were plenty of folks out enjoying the sunshine. St. Kilda also boasts a long pier along which a penguin colony resides. However, they are typically viewed at sunset, and when we visited late in the morning, they were out at sea. Oh well, we still had a great time lounging about and walking about the waterfront, seeing what we could of the marine life and enjoying the view of the central skyline just a few miles away. Also at St. Kilda is the country's oldest theme park, Luna Park. Opened in 1912, it predates the amusement park in Sydney by the same name by more than 20 years. So, as it turned out, our time in Melbourne was too short. And after a fantastic intro to the city, I'm hoping it won't be too long before I get a chance to visit again and dive deeper into the sports and culture. By the way, this is the last video in my 5-video series on visiting Australia for sports. And I want to sincerely thank everyone who has watched, followed along, and even subscribed to the channel as a result. Please know that I'm deeply grateful for your support. To the Australians out there, I hope I properly showed how great the experience of visiting your country truly is, and I eagerly await the chance to come back and learn even more about it. If you like this video, leave a like or a comment below and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel because we'll be making a lot more stadium and travel videos like this one. And if you're looking for more info on other major cities or sports venues, head to itinerantfan.com. Thanks for watching, and happy travels!